So should people run a business first before they start making films?
So I'm going to take us off on a little tangent, but there's a book called The Long Tail by Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson, up until recently, was the editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. He's one of my heroes. His book, The Long Tail, was a bestseller. And it basically is the idea that there is very soon, because of the internet and distribution channels that are changing, going to be as much money to be made in the tail of a market as in the head, which means that traditionally Hollywood blockbuster movies made all the money. That's the head. And then the tail of the market, which is everything else, made up less than 10% of the amount of money made. And this meant that independent films and things like that fell into that less than 10% and didn't do very well. But because of different marketing strategies and Netflix and things like that, the tail is starting to raise and the head is starting to lower in the amount of money they're making. So they're going to equal out to be a flat line eventually when distribution is completely democratized. And that means that independent filmmakers can start to make real money doing this. Not as much money as Hollywood makes, but more than they make working for Starbucks, for instance. And that is something that we would very much like to see, not just for our business, but for the market in general and the variety of movies and things like that. And the quality of movies, in my opinion, will go up. And but one of the things that will need to happen is that independent filmmakers will also need to become independent business people.
Yeah.
They'll become one and the same. So there's no way to create an independent market that is self-sufficient without each body in that independent market being a self-sufficient business entity also.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some way, in order to have any kind of career, you have to see yourself as a business person, even if you're an artist. You know, a painter who doesn't show their work, who doesn't search out to get a gallery to show that work in, you know, they're not going to necessarily be able to support themselves on their art. So to some degree, while it can be abhorrent to people who want to just live a fully artistic lifestyle independent of any sort of money management, that really is an important part of creating and sustaining a career. And I think that as stuff like YouTube, you know, as the channel model becomes more and more popular, where people will have control over their distribution channels, it will become more important for them to be able to budget things, to be able to deliver on a consistent basis. And that's something that, you know, I think that there is such a split right now in terms of some people don't necessarily see themselves ever being able to make films on a level that will show theatrically, that, you know, will be a big deal, you know, so-called real or studio filmmaker. And I think that keeps people from creating a game plan of how they're going to make money off of their films. And you see this particularly with people making shorter micro-budget features. But it's really something that if people can learn to do and understand is part of what it takes to get yourself out there, then that will really help people as we move into an easier method of distribution.